guys, today I'm going to show you how to build a sawmill shed and a man cave using the sawmill itself for under $50. Let's get started.
You ever lay on your floor and think to yourself, my ceiling could use a little something? A little something that makes it a little bit more fancy? I do that sometimes. Like right now, staring at the ceiling going, it could use a little something.
That looks better. Oh, there's so much more room for activities in here. Well, if you guys didn't guess it already, my fancy light came in and I'm gonna install it in my ceiling. I preemptively tied that chunk to the ceiling so it didn't hit me in the face. Smart guy, I'm a smart guy. Oh, that's heavy. I didn't think it was that heavy. Alright, I got the opening cut out in the ceiling and I've made a nice little wooden frame that goes around that skylight. I'm still not good at pointing on camera. And ideally, the light is going to fit exactly in there. There's little feet adjustments on the light to adjust for depth of ceiling. Yeah, let's hope for the best, see if it fits. Alright, as it turns out, my ceiling is too thick and I'm going to have to do some fancy cutting to make that fit. Well, that almost turned into a swearing in the forest with Kevin episode. I've got her down to the trim depth. I just had to cut above the thing and hopefully this thing fits and it's magnetic, just like this. Ta-da! I'm gonna take the plastic off. Look at that. Isn't that fancy? Alright, it's in there. Let's turn it on. Ta-da! What's it? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That must mean something. I think that's the sun's rising or something. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Pulsing. I think that's when I have to pair it with my phone. It's doing its thing. All right, let's pair this thing. All right, we got it connected. It's all rocking, and you can control it by your phone. Did I mention it's got a little app you can control by your phone? But you can set the scene. Like you want it to be like sunrise. You kick the sunrise, and it does it automatically if you want it to. So like high noon was when the sun's right up in the middle. Sunset, and it's got like moonlight. You can set the moonlight, which is like in the daytime it looks like it's off, but it's actually moonlight, dawn. It's got the dawn setting. So the idea behind this thing is that it doesn't matter if it's cloudy and raining, it's always going to be sun shining around here. That's pretty neat. Sunshine lollipops. I don't know the rest of that song. Anyways, this skylight's by a company called PezTech. There'll be a link in the description below if you want to pick yourself your very own really cool skylight, and it can always be sunny in your workshop. Or in your living room for that matter. I don't know where you put it. Sunshine lollipops. Something like that. It is really cool. Look how much that looks like an actual sunshine. Like, whoa. Just imagine like you're sitting here doing your thing. Well, maybe not standing up on a ladder, but I think it really adds something. And the sun be like, oh yeah. I don't know if I get a tan up here. Alright, well I've cut my track to size. I've got it mounted up where it needs to go, and that's going to allow my door to run side to side. Now the idea behind barn doors is that they get out of the way when they're open, much like a pocket door with less hassle. So now all I have to do is create a door out of thin air and wood. The plan is to make it substantial. I've got some old pieces of glass that I took out of the this glass wall over here, and then I'm going to inlay it inside the door because I want to have that open, airy feeling, but I want something a little bit more substantial. So I'm going to make something that fits right. I've got some ash wood milled up and some cherry, so probably some inlay. Yeah, that's my plan, but I'm pondering on this nice sunny day. Let's kind of look at it for a little bit and think about what you want to put there. And really heavy wood. In order to build my door, I first started with the bottom and the top piece. I figured out how wide I wanted my door, and then I cut the tops and the bottoms and then laid them out. And then I figured out how tall I wanted the door and cut 2 pieces of cherry wood in order to attach the sides. Once I nailed those, or glued them and nailed them together, I had the basic layout, and then I cut my 2 sides with the same type of ash wood, and then once that was nailed in, I added my middle piece, which gives my door balance. All right, well, that took pretty much the whole afternoon. That is the one side of the door, kind of all sanded out. It's got that hand-hewn, hand-scraped finish. It's still pretty darn smooth. There's going to be a wood panel that goes in here and glass that goes in here. Same stuff that matches the wall on the Sawsmahal, but I'm pleased with the way that turned out. I've got the reveal over here, and I've got the reveal that matches inside. That way everything kind of matches, and it's kind of got that inlay with the cherry wood with the ash. So you got the red and then you got the white. It's going to look pretty darn cool sitting right there once I flip it over to the other side. I just got to straighten out this edge here. I got a piece of sandpaper with a big block on it to give me a nice straight edge. I'm trying to add a reveal to the one side. I kind of made the board a little thick, so I just kind of whittled it down. Well, that's smooth. Smooth as a... That's just smooth. Smooth. Now all I gotta do is lift it. She's gonna be heavy. Very, very heavy. I'm lacking descriptions. Lacking adjectives. Adjectives today? Maybe all this woodworking's getting to me. Anybody want to help me lift this thing? She's some heavy wood. I don't know, Frankie, you want to help me lift this thing? You want to help me lift this? Come on, lift it. You grab one side. Come on one side. Come on. You help. You grab this side. What? Frankie, you're not helping. You're not helping, Frankie. How are you going to help by standing up there? Like a spring chicken. I'll pick you up. Like I want to pick you up. You're heavier than the door. You coming? Here. Come on. Alright. There you go. Okay. It's just head. Holy freak. Heavy. How did you get squished by your door, Kevin? I don't know. Heads up, Frankie. Ow. Alright, so the idea behind this guy is that I want this panel to be floating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the edges, but I'm not going to glue the actual boards in the frame, and that allows it to kind of expand and contract that way. All right, we're ready to hang the door, and this is fresh off the presses. It's still hot. It's crazy hot. I've welded a plate to the base of, or the top of this wheel. If I could show you it. I only got one glove on. And it's gonna attach to the top of the door, and then it's gonna hang on the track and roll. It's, yeah, it's still hot. So I gotta just drill a couple of holes in that. I'm just gonna put that down. Drill a couple of holes in that guy and attach it to the top of the door, and it's gonna hang kind of like a pocket door, but it's going to be a barn door. I'm not sure why they don't make barn door rollers that sit on the top of the door. They always kind of sit on the face, and I don't really want it to sit on the face. I want it to sit on the top. So I've modified it slightly, which are going to sit on top. I got to mortise those in. So you can't see it. All you see is a wheel, and then the wheel slides on the track. Bada bing, bada boom. You got a sliding barn door. kind of got a little carried away on this one, but you know what? It's cool looking. Why the last nail had to do... Ah! You guys see that? Well, check that out. Like, she works perfect. Look at, easily just pushed along. Open, completely open. You can walk right in now. That's perfect. And you just slide it closed. Perfect. I'm super pleased with the way this door has turned out. Look at this. It's like slides. My adjustment was, it gets right out of the way. You can open it up. This is like, and then when you're done for the day, you close it. Look at that door. Still got to put a stop on it, but so far so good. All right, so the next step on this door is to varnish it. But first, I've got to let it sit there, hang, dry out. This was a log about 4 days ago, and now it's a door. So it's gonna do something. I'm hoping not a lot. And I'll give it its final sand, its final fill, and its final varnish in order to protect it and make sure it lasts a really long time. Well, that certainly made short work of that project, making all the material I need for the back wall. This guy here, this is the Norwood Lumber Pro HD36. I don't know if I've given this thing enough credit throughout this entire project, but a lot of these projects that I do aren't possible without a cheap source of wood. And by cheap source of wood, I mean you got to be able to make it yourself. This guy here has basically done everything that I've asked it for and more. It's been a reliable workhorse throughout this project and all of the other projects I've thrown at it. I'm not sure this guy here gets enough credit for all the work it's performed. By this guy, I mean this Norwood HD36. Other than putting new blades in this thing and changing the oil every once in a while, this thing is pretty much paid for itself time and time again. If you guys are interested in a sawmill, the link will be in the description below to pick yourself up your very own Norwood. There's no better time than the springtime to pick up a sawmill because you've got all summer to mill wood. And you know what? Build yourself a sawmill shed and you can mill all winter. Well, that certainly cleans it up quite a bit. And it just needs to have the battens put on. But yeah, nice little spot for a bench. Nice little horizontal surface right here at some point. Probably today. Just got to make sure we got a clearance for the door. But yeah, that's all just from spare wood that was laying around. Over the last couple of years, the Norwood Sawmill has really been an asset to all of my builds. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the main cabin. We built this thing using this Norwood Sawmill. Pretty much everything from the trim to the clapboard to the beams to the structure to the ceiling, the trim, the door even, not the glass, but the door frame, the ceiling inside, the beams on the loft, the actual flooring on the loft. Here's the trim, the kitchen table that's in here, as well as the kitchen itself with the kitchen cabinets, with the drawers, all of the inside, you know, even the steps on the stairs that go up. So a lot of this wouldn't be possible without the actually having a sawmill. So, because if you had to buy this, it would be almost cost prohibitive in order to actually build it. I'm gonna give you another tour of another building. The sauna was also built using the Norwood Sawmill. I can give you a quick tour of that. All of the inside cladding was milled up using the Norwood Sawmill. We've got our ash cladding, we've got our cedar benches, all made out of wood found on the property using the sawmill. We made poplar benches and again, trim on this thing. So all the interior cladding was from the sawmill. The log cabin wasn't necessarily made entirely with the sawmill because we did end up using logs, but all of the addition pieces that we did, the overhang, was all milled wood. So we got our beams that were milled out, they were squared up on one edge in order to give us a nice flat. The strapping that was used on the roof, the door jambs, all of the trim, the underside structure on the steel roof, and then when you come inside, the actual ceiling was made out of the material that we came off the sawmill, as well as the kitchen countertops and all of the shelving and whatnot was made using the sawmill. You guessed it, the entire outhouse was made using the sawmill. This is all cedar clapboard siding. We have the door made out of some butternut. We've got the door, again, the inside, all cedar cladding. Can we see the inside of here? All of the inside roof structure was made by milling up all our own material. And again, a lot of this stuff cost prohibitive if you had to buy it. The A-frame was also built using the sawmill, including the deck boards, which we got some pine deck wood. We've got our ash siding, we've got our cookies, we've got the interior cladding, which is ash, all custom milled on the sawmill. So as you guys can see, all of this stuff, even the beams that were used on the fronts and the backs were all squared off using the sawmill to the cladding on the inside, the board and batten cladding. Even these coat hooks were made. These are actually offcuts from the sawmill that had the little branches sticking out. We ended up using them as coat hooks, but as you can see, very versatile. Even this cookie that the lampshade is sitting on, again, was made using our Norwood Sawmill. Now, to give a ballpark figure on how much actual material was produced using the sawmill, I would guess in and around the $100,000 mark in material costs alone. Now, the structures themselves, if you were to peg a value at them, I would say in the neighborhood of somewhere about $200,000 worth of product has been created using the initial investment of the sawmill, which if you want to, take a look at their website, you can see their current pricing on it. But as you can see, given the right tools, it's more of an asset than a liability. You get the sawmill, and then you have the ability to actually make something that makes money. It's like buying a rental property. You only buy it once, and then it makes you money day after day, year after year. Check the link in the description below. You can get yourself your very own sawmill, and the best time to get one is in the springtime. You know why? Because you can mill all summer long. All right, next up is the under the counter shelf, and what I've done is I've actually put the first couple of boards in place, and what I've figured out is that my walls aren't perfectly square. So what I do is I just put this guy I put the one board in on a 45, and then I use this like a double cut. So what I do is I take this guy, push out it against the wall, make sure she's pretty much tight, and then what I do is I actually use the other board as a marking. It's not exactly 45, but once that's cut, it's going to fit perfect because it's using the other board as a guide. Well, winter number 2 has decided to rear its ugly head. It's like below freezing this morning. Oh, Frankie, come on in. Yeah, it's kind of chilly. I ended up putting the stops on the windows so I can have some kind of ceiling. So I've got the temporary blocks holding the windows from flapping in the wind. Prior to that, it didn't matter because it was nice and airflow. I happen to have these guys, but these are for the up and... Frankie has decided that she likes to stand on the counter and look out the window. Frankie, that's why. Frankie, Are you helping, Frankie? It's a nice spot. Like what I was saying, I've got these latches, but they're for up and down windows. They kind of lock the window and kind of pull it closed against the thing. They're designed for like single hung, the ones that go up and down. I'm gonna see if I can adapt them to actually secure the window once it's closed. I don't have the other piece though, but these are like old stock from like back in the day. What I was gonna say is I'm gonna light the stove, because you know what? Nothing like lifting your spirits with a little bit of fire. Also, we haven't actually tested this out, so it could burning candle both ends, sort of little a little fire starter. Obviously, you don't want to hold it on too long, but you light both sides and you just kind of put it in, and magic does the rest. Magic fire starter. And then the great thing about woodworking and having a wood stove is that well, you just kind of toss all your scraps into the fire as you're going. Back when I was little, the people that I would help build houses, they would like as soon as the building was kind of framed in, like there was no sheeting on it or anything, like it was just stick framed, the next thing that would go in was a wood stove, and they would just shimmy all their off scraps and 2x whatever into the stove, and it would keep them warm, because they used to do a lot of building. Well, they didn't really do a lot of building in the winter, but up north they built whenever they could, and it was always winter. You know, the further north you go, the more winter it is. It's always, winter is always around the corner. It's always kind of, I think that's what Canadians do, is they're always preparing for winter. This stuff takes 5-inch wood. So, that was the stuff I milled up for the stops on the window. It's like popcorn fart dry. So we'll just throw that in. That's a scrap piece too. I guess I could. Ideally I'm gonna have like a little, either an anvil, so I can split tiny little pieces of wood, kind of like a reverse axe. So I can use a sledgehammer and like just a pokey area, so I can break it up that way. Because using a hatchet inside is not good. You want to control the wood on top like a reverse axe. You want to see another little cool feature? This little guy here is a side arm water jacket for the Grizzly stove, and how it works is it hangs on the side of the stove like this, and it heats up your water, which is crazy cool. And if you're in a tiny space and you need some moisture, you just kind of fill it up with water and, oh, I should shut the lid. No, I got my wood all wet. A convenient little tap. My afternoon coffee on tap. Trips to the lumberyard take a lot less time now that we've got it figured out. These are some standing dead white pines, nice and dry. These are going to be more board and battened. I got 2 on the front, 4 in the back. These ones aren't the prettiest, but the back ones are nice. So that's going to be more board and batten for me. I've come to realize that you need more benches. So this back wall needs to have board and batten put on it, so I can have a nice big bench along the back here, kind of like a staging area. As you can see, I've been using this as, well, as a bench. Look, it just keeps going. Any horizontal surface really can be used as a bench. It will even the ground. I need something here. Look who's here too.
Hi.
Hello, Rachel.
Hi, everybody.
Look at that. You're loud and everything. You brought me cookies?
I did bring some cookies.
Nice. Frankie, don't eat my cookies. But I got I think I got hot water all set up. We're just gonna put you over here. Rachel actually came for coffee. I told her I have this really cool thing that boils water, and what did you say?
I can hear it boiling water.
It's boiling water. It's the water jacket on side of the mini cubic wood stove.
It's working.
It's been percolating all day actually, and I'm curious to see how much water we've lost. You know what?
Not a lot.
None. Mmm, candy. Here, I'll get you. Here, I'm gonna Sneak over here.
Well, half, because that water looks really hot. So I'm gonna maybe put some of your drinking water in it to cool it down so I can actually drink it.
Has anybody ever tried this Nescafe sweet and creamy coffee?
It looks
Cheers.
really hot still.
Just you try it first.
No, you try.
Lava!
I don't want to burn myself.
That thing works crazy efficiently. Rachel's been writing a book, and she's been down at the A-frame. I think I've talked about this already on camera. I don't know if you watched that episode. I have something else too. You're gonna appreciate.
Oh.
I haven't even opened it yet. Take a look at this. This is a tiny little oven. It fits right there. You put your little roasting pan in here. Close this thing. It's got the little temperature dial on top. Tells you what your temperature is. It's like all in one. And then you got the vent hole at the side. I'm gonna warm up the cookies. Not forget about the cookies. I think the cookie's done. The cookie's gotta be done. I'm gonna. Uh-oh. I'm gonna take this thing right off. It's melted too. I'm never coming home. I'm just gonna stay here forever in Man Cave Mahal eating warmed up cookies and drinking French vanilla coffee. Just try it. Try the cookie.
I will. You'd come home when you run out of cookies and coffee.
Anyways, we're gonna do our coffee. That thing makes hot water like there's no tomorrow. It's still making hot water. It's crazy. It's like hot water on demand. Whenever you need it, it's there. We're gonna do our coffee and then get back to work. This thing's not gonna finish itself.
Speaking of trash, I found this on the side of the road. Look at this thing. This is the, well, depending on your taste, the most awful chandelier or the most beautiful chandelier. I don't know. I think it's got some redeeming qualities. Other than the fact it needs a small nuclear reactor to power it. It's got 60 watt candelabra bulbs, and I'm going to probably replace those with like LED, low wattage LED bulbs. Or even convert it to DC to run off solar. But anyways, that wouldn't be the Sawsmahal unless we got a chandelier above the mill. That thing's going to be awesome. And I'm going to mount it to one of these guys, because why not? Well, that's spectacular. That is definitely the fanciest chandelier I could possibly find for this particular application. Well, there's your problem. There was a screw sitting inside the thing. So if you have a chandelier like this and it doesn't work and you throw it out, and you just check and see if the screws are still in there, because that was shorting out the light. So that's fixed. But like I was saying, that thing's amazing. I think the first order of business is to find 21 low wattage bulbs. That is that's a lot of wattage going on right there, and it's draining the battery really quick. So yeah, I might turn that thing off until I find some new stuff. But what my plan was is to actually, when I get little weird pieces of wood, is to hang them where the, I guess the crystals would be on the side. So if like I get like a weird chunk, just put like a piece of fishing line and then dangle it like a weird. You always kind of like get chunks off of pieces of wood, like, you know, the holes you would see in like a maple tree. Just all the knickknacks and doohickeys, like driftwood pieces. It's like a modern take on those antler chandeliers. It's going to be a sawmill chandelier, but that's an overtime sort of thing. But I love the way that thing looks. That thing's amazing. And the ultimate reason why I picked it up is because it matches the brass on the mini cubic stove. See? Tie it all together. All right, so next up is the bench that goes on this back wall. I've fabbed up some more brackets. These are the wire spools. I've got like a cross member here and then a thing to hold the weight. And this, the idea behind this is to have it kind of simple, just like that, all along there. I don't know if you guys can see there. I've got a laser line. Yeah, you can see it. Although, what I've done is I've forgotten to mark the studs. I don't exactly know where they are. And this thing, you kind of want it on a stud. Can't see them anywhere. Anyways, let's get these things mounted and then I can get my my slabs on there. A laser line shot along there, so I'm going to put 4 brackets up on here and then make another workbench. And the idea here is to have the kind of the really dusty stuff to be outside of the man cave, like belt sander, a bench grinder, stuff like that. You kind of don't want it in your space. So like if it's open air, the dust just kind of goes away somewhere. I'm not sure where it goes. Ideally, you're not breathing it in. Oh, man. Well, my wood's a little short. Isn't that always the case? Anyways, not a big deal. I'm gonna do a lap joint here and then splice this guy in order to make it long enough. I also need a piece at the back, which I don't have. But that being said, it is a sawmill, so I'll find a piece at some point to fill in the back piece. But if I get the front piece in, I've added a little piece here to make it wide enough to join it all together. That's the joy of having a sawmill, is you just keep making whatever the heck you want. So yeah, I think it's coming along. I'm just gonna do a lap joint here, make that guy, which is another piece, fit in there to extend it all the way to here, and that gives us ample horizontal space to store all of the stuff. Well, it looks like the bench is done. I hung my clock. You know why? Because you can't have a good time unless you have a good clock. And it's to remind me that it's never the right time and it's never the wrong time to do anything, really. It's whether you take the time to get the stuff done. If anybody's keeping track, this bench is 14 feet long. And you know what? It won't be enough. You can never have enough bench. Now let's fill it with stuff. All right, well, it's storage time. And I picked up these bins, not exactly knowing what I was going to do with them. These are from Princess Auto, and they're just kind of, they're like black plastic boxes, and they were really inexpensive. And if I was going to build them out of wood, it would take a whole lot of time. And these ones are more durable, and they're not going to break anyways. So what I've decided to do is I've made a bracket up. It looks like this. It's made out of solid ash, and what it's going to do is act like a hanger. And that's going to hang my basket like that. And then you push it all the way in, and then when you pull it out, you can see, you can pull the whole thing out, get your stuff, and then put it back, storage. And there's little tabs. I don't know if they designed it that way so they don't just shoot too far in. So, just like that. Now you're not going to want to put your rock collection in here or anything, but knickknacks and doohickeys, look at that. I like you just pull them out, take them where you want and use them, and then just put them back. Now I just gotta repeat that 3 more times and I'm done. Give you a little bit of a tour of what we've done for the last like 9 weeks. This is the sawmill shed slash man cave. And the reason why you want a man cave on your sawmill shed is a place to warm up and do the things that you need to do with your sawmill shed. And it gives you a great excuse to say, you know what? I'm gonna go sawmill, but you don't necessarily have to. You could go just hang out in the man cave. All right, so this is kind of our staging area here. This is beside the mill. And I can foresee an addition going here at some point, but we'll get on that later. So this is the cut station. So once you get your wood off of the mill, you can cut it to size. You got your chop saw here. This happens to be a Makita sliding compound miter saw, and you got battery. Everything's battery operated nowadays. And we've got our 14-foot workbench sitting here, and we've got various tools from Princess Auto. We got a 17-inch steel dustpan because that is important for cleaning up your mess. It also works like a scooper. So when you want to scoop something up, like a lot of sawdust or some dirt or anything like that, and we've got our adjustable bar clamps because, well, if we're putting something together, you know what? It's kind of like we're in the workshop, the wood shop workshop. So we got our sanding area here. So if you want to make some charcuterie boards or whatnot, you can sand some stuff off. We've got a clock I found, and you can't have a good time unless you have a good clock. And I made a little sign. It's always milling time. And over here we got sharpening station. So if you've got your axes
and knives and whatnot. This is a Pro Point 5/8 inch arbor, and that allows you to pretty much sharpen anything you can think of, from knives to axes to mauls. And the things you can't sharpen, you sharpen with this little guy here. This is an electric chainsaw sharpener, also from Princess Auto. This happens to be a Power Fist version of it, but that allows you to quickly re-sharpen your chainsaw chains. Now, I like to sharpen them by hand, but when they get all out of whack, I like to put them in an electric chainsaw sharpener and kind of retool them so they're all basically back to the way they should be from the factory. And then we've got our little area here. So we've built a door basically from scratch. We've used ash wood as well as inlay. We inlaid cherry, and then we used our old garage door panel glass that we used. Actually, we shrunk for the I guess the feature wall. So that's that. It was done wet, so it does have some character. By character, I mean some cracking. But you know what? Once that thing fully dries out, we can always fill it again and give it a coat of varnish. And nothing has a varnish on it yet because I really want it to dry out. So probably near the end of the summer, I'll give this thing a nice coat of varnish in order to protect it from the elements, anything that kind of blows in, kind of like byproduct rain as it kind of floats in, or snow or something like that. Because the idea behind this shed is it's open air. Because this isn't a gasoline engine. This is the reason why this shed is built in the first place. So this is our Norwood Lumber Pro HD36, and this thing is our workhorse. It basically can take a log up to 36 inches in diameter and mill it into usable wood for whatever you want. Any kind of wood, for that matter. I currently have a setup. I can cut up to a 16'6" long log. And that being said, the side door at the back over here opens up. If you want to go longer, you can always add more sides to the mill. So this is how we can do it. We can actually, like, it's a whole barn door. So we open up the mill so we can fully extend it, so we can get whatever the heck we want onto the bill and get it. We can kind of like just send it in there that way and get it onto the mill. And we have a chandelier, because why not have a chandelier? I happen to find an old light fixture. It happens to have a lot of regular bulbs in there right now. I'm going to switch that out to LED bulbs because it is using a lot of the battery pack in order to power that thing. But I just think it adds a little bit of je ne sais quoi. I think it's pretty cool. Anyways, let's look inside the man cave. Before we get in the man cave, let's have a look at this feature wall. These are garage door panels formerly from a fire hall garage door. It was 3 panels wide. We ended up shrinking them down to 2 panels wide, and then we had extra glass, and like I said, we used it in the door, and that's a barn door track there that allows this guy to slide. All right, so as we come inside, we can see we have a cookie floor. This was milled out of ash wood and PL Premium, glued it down, and then we mortared in all the joints. As you guys can see, there is a little bit of a gap between the cookies and the mortar. And what I'm going to do after that is actually add some mortar, kind of like grout, and just kind of sweep it in, like polymeric sand when you would do interlocking tile. And that'll take care of the gaps, because everything dries, everything shrinks, everything moves, but you know, deal with it. And one of the other features with this floor is it's actually taller than the ground outside, so you don't have a threshold you have to deal with. You just kind of sweep it out the door, and you can maintain your floor's cleanliness. Now coming in, as you guys can see, there is ash on the walls. This was felled from the property. It was dead standing ash, and we've used a kind of like board and batten style on the horizontal plane. And then we made some legs for our workbench. As you can see them here, painted black, welded them all up together. And then we made an ash top. This is 2 1/8 inch thick, and it gives us a nice workstation in here. We have a tray ceiling with glowiness, and then a digital skylight from Pez Tech. The link will be in the description below for those guys. Those are pretty cool because you can actually get them to mimic the time of day. You can have it sunset, sunrise, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I really like it. We've got some LED pot lights in there just to give us, you know, working light on our workstation. So over here, we've got a lot of doohickeys and thingamabobs. One thing I like, especially in the man cave, is the old shortwave radio. I don't really have it plugged in right now, but it's something that I like to toy with. So everybody's got to have a shortwave radio, right? Come in, Tokyo! Anyways. All right, so then we got our windows. These were 2 panes wide. We made them 3 panes wide by actually adding a biscuit in there, and they open. So we can open them out in kind of like an awning window. It sheds the water, and then we can have pretty much air blowing through here. Because I don't know if you've ever been in a wood workshop. That is a stuffy environment. So when you can avoid the stuffy environment, that's ideal. And if we look at the floor, we've got our cookie floor, our ash cookie floor, which is it's milled ash pucks, and they were PL premiumed to the floor and then mortared in place. Now there is a little bit of cracking between the pucks and the mortar, but my plan for that is once it fully dries out, I'm going to basically sweep some polymeric sand. That's the same type of sand that they would use in a interlocking brick. Like driveways and walkways and stuff like that. So that should lock it in place, and then you don't have to, wipe it out. You just basically, dump it on and then broom it out. Over here we've got sort of like our man cave cooking station. By man cave cooking station, we got our microwave here and our EcoFlow power pack that powers it. We also have a little tiny roasting pan that allows us to cook on the wood stove. Now that brings us to this wood stove. This wood stove is mini cubic wood stove. It's the Grizzly version, and what it has on it as an addition, it has this sidearm water jacket. Now this little sidearm water jacket actually allows you to pour off hot water, basically on demand. You fill this thing up, and it always gives you hot water, so you can have your coffee or your tea or whatnot. We've got some little tiny tools there, and yeah, so mini cubic wood stoves. These things are pretty much, they're awesome because they have everything you need to install the wood stove, from the double-walled stainless steel pipe, from the the solid steel construction. Did I mention it's made in Canada? Anyways, all right, moving on. We've got well, we have to mention Princess Auto. Princess Auto is where I got a lot of my stuff, and I was just kind of I did a mock-up of what we can actually, if we can see this. This is a mock-up of what the ash will look when it's varnished. So this is a dry piece of wood. It's a little dusty, but we varnished it up, so the whole building's going to look like that once everything is dried out. I don't want to varnish it before it is dry. And then if we look over here, we have a bench vise, because everybody needs a bench vise in their man cave. You got to hold that stuff that just wants to move around. Say if you are tinkering, or you're holding stuff, or you're sharpening something, you know what? You need a bench vise, and that is also from Princess Auto. That is a Power Fist vise, bench vise. And if you look down here, underneath we also have some more shelving. I've made some nice little drawers out of, again, plastic boxes that we got from Princess Auto. And we've got storage down below, some other stuff here. And what else? What else can I say? You know what? I really like the way this thing has turned out. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think you guys, if you think of anything else I should add to this thing, you should put your comments down below. Well guys, that pretty much wraps up this particular project and this video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and join me on the next one.